guys with another episode, Cowboys Experience Style. The room fill up.
Yeah, let this room fill up.
I'm gonna let this room fill all the way up. Victory.
Victory.
Yeah. Yeah. This room fill up, man. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Share this thing. Let a friend, neighbor, know where to go.
Share. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're about to talk about this good Cowboys victory. Even though they was acting funny,
yeah,
it don't matter. We got the dub.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all know how it goes. Be live like 95, baby. Mm-hmm. Cowboys Experience Style. Mm-hmm. Leave us a review. Yeah.
As long as it's good. Don't be leaving no bad reviews. We don't like them. Keep them to yourself.
Get thrown out of the club with that.
Yeah, just keep that to yourself. If you don't like it, just keep it to yourself. You ain't got to tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. We on all circuits now, baby. Yeah. Victory Tuesday. And I must tell everybody, just keep in mind, one day at a time, one movement at a time, day by day, movement by movement, week by week. And then we look up and we can sit back and say, man, this is what we have done. My name is Law Nation, LAW Nation, Cowboys Experience. I'm telling you, this is where you go when you want to get like ticket pricing, meet and greet sessions, and all of those things. But let me just go ahead and allow my guy, my brother from another mother, introduce himself. Go ahead, fam.
What's up, everybody? This is Big Game James here on the ones and twos of my dog Law Nation. You know we're on the Cowboys Experience once again. Hey, we got a game coming up against the Minnesota Vikings. If you still got time to get on with that package, please inbox myself, Silver and Blue Nation, Law Nation. You can get on the Cowboys Experience website, www.cowboysexperience.com. And you can also get on the site where we are right now. Get in the inbox, ask for Barry Griffith. He can get you up with the great prices, some of the best and lowest prices in town. We've already experienced it. We're going to experience it again this season, and it's something second to none. You're getting travel back into the game, great hotel stay, food, tailgating, meet and greets with active players, former players, guys that you used to love and cherish when you were younger, and guys that you love and cherish right now. You don't want to miss out on that experience, so please get on with the Cowboys Experience. Second to none. That's why it's called Cowboys Experience.
Cowboys Experience. You even get a chance to meet Rowdy, man. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's real crazy.
Oh, my goodness. So the Cowboys had a bye week, and I guess you and I both lamented that normally the historical data shows that after a bye week under the Jason Garrett administration, that we start off flat, man. Talk to me about this game. What happened, man? What happened?
Well, you know, when the game first started out, I was cussing at the TV, yelling at the TV, mad because I said, here we go again, starting like that. First play of the game, we get an interception by Dak Prescott. You've seen the first quarter and a half, almost 2 quarters, we just looked plain sloppy. You know, I was getting on Tyron Smith a little bit about the holding call, but when you watched again, that wasn't a holding call.
Right.
But it did still get taken back. We went down the field. We missed the field goal. We were driving down the field again. We had the turnover with Randall Cobb with the fumble. We just really kept the Giants in the game. We were clearly better with them, as you saw by the end of the game. We were clearly better than them. So I guess we're, frustrated like other Cowboys fans. We can't have these slow starts, especially when we're getting ready to play these tough teams. A lot of teams that we're playing are over 500, and if you play a team like that, like you started in that game, it might be the death of you, because other teams are going to capitalize on those turnovers. Other teams are going to make plays when you miss and make mistakes like this. The good thing about it is we were playing the Giants. They're not that good of a team. They will fight you, which they did. But at the end of the day, our will, our defensive pressure, just overall, we're the better team, and it showed toward the end of the game. And I really love the defensive performance.
Right.
I love it because LVE was out the game. We saw a Renaissance General Sean Lee, a Sean Lee we hadn't seen in a very long time, 12 tackles. And also we seen Jalen Smith. And one thing I really liked about Jalen Smith in that game, Law, was that, man, it was like when LVE went out, it was kind of like he took over. He was playing like it was his defense. Like he was playing that quarterback of the defense. Like you could just watch him. He was so in tune, so dialed into that game. 12 tackles, had a big sack, and, man, he was just all over there everywhere. He was just really relishing the moment. And then once again, Jay Lou, my dog. I told you that's my dog from day one. I told Chris Richard even at training camp, get this man back on the field because he's a playmaker, and when you get a playmaker on the field, he makes plays. And that's what he did again last night. I think he had about 7 tackles, played all over the field, and had the big fumble recovery. And if you look at it, a lot of times Cowboys players trip over themselves, fall over the ball, kick it out of bounds. We always miss those opportunities.
Right.
But if you watch Jordan Lewis, he slowed down because he's a playmaker. He slowed down, watched that ball kind of bounce and kind of gauge how it was going to come up, picks it up, scoops it up for the touchdown. So it was a really good defensive performance. And, man, that Michael Bennett, we talked about him making a big difference. We thought he'd make a big difference already, and you saw it. Had the sack, hit the quarterback 4 times, had plenty of pressures, had a big, almost would-be sack that knocked them out of a touchdown and had to go another field goal. But you saw that package with him, D-Law, Robert Quinn, Malik Collins. Everybody was just getting in, and I just believe he brought an attitude, and you could see the aggressiveness that he brought to the team in that game, and I was really excited to see.
Yes, indeed, man. When you look at the whole entire game and you look at each of the individual players' skill set, man, we did a good job on that aspect of it. Now, did we start off slow? Yeah. I mean, that's something that we're going to have to work on as it relates to down the line. But I will say this. For all of the four-ladder network and everybody's talking down upon Dak Prescott.
Man, shut up.
Just hush, yes. 101 QBR, was it 101?
101 QBR. I mean, he's steady. He's maintaining 102 QBR the whole year. This is 8 games in. If he's a flop, and he's weird, Dak Prescott's this, Dak Prescott is that. He's consistently kept his numbers. I mean, if you look at his numbers right now currently, you're talking about other MVPs with Russell Wilson, your boy Lamar Jackson, and even Deshaun Watson. Yes, they got great numbers, but Dak Prescott, 69.6 completion percentage, 102.5 rating, 2,380 yards. We didn't think – did you see that? Averaging almost 300 yards of passing a game, 15 touchdowns, 8 picks, but I'll say about 3 or 4 of them came off receivers' hands, and he has 3 rushing touchdowns, and he's averaging 8.7 yards a attempt. How can you not sit there and say Dak Prescott is not the guy? If you talking about Jared Goff and he was over-trumped Carson Wentz as far as the money goes, you're really going to look at me in the eye and tell me that Jared Goff is better than Dak Prescott? Man, please.
They can't find the storyline or the narrative to pull that out where they can find false narratives. But my thing is with this, we wanted the kid to throw with more anticipation, right? But when they starting to do it, when you throw the ball more, law of averages. When the more you throw it, the more situations happen out there as it relates to turnovers and interceptions. So my thing is let the kid play. And then on top of that, boy, the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides. Can you talk to me a little bit about Ezekiel Elliott, Big Game James?
Hey, remember when we talked about the main thing that we had talked about, Law? The main thing that we had talked about, Law.
The main
thing we talked about, Law, is that we need to see that Ezekiel Elliott that ran in Philly. We need to see Philly Zeke. Like the Philly steak, we need to see Philly Zeke. That's what we need. We need a nice Philly Zeke with some onions and some peppers and some cheese and some good meat. We need a Philly Zeke, and that's what he did once again. He had over almost 140 yards, 139 to be exact, average 6 yards a carry. And you saw, and it wasn't just Ezekiel Elliott running that ball hard. That offensive line, the offensive line was opening. I can't even get it out. I'm so excited.
It's good.
Opening holes, big sizes, craters. I mean, in that second half, he was really wearing them down. The offensive line played great. Had a few penalties, but like we said, when you go back and review those penalties, they were kind of bogus. And when you look at, was Dak Prescott even sacked?
Not his jersey was clean.
Exactly. So there you go. Big running game by Ezekiel Elliott. And after the Cowboys calmed down and got their wits together, no sacks. Dak was able to get himself together, and he was a warrior. How do you hate on Dak when he comes back and throws an interception on the first play of the game, comes back, battles back, throws for over 250 yards and 3 touchdowns? What? So that was a beautiful thing. But to see Ezekiel Elliott run, you see how when they're all kind of running together, when you see Amari Cooper, even though he had some injuries, Amari Cooper was still out there battling. Dak Prescott playing. It was almost like our triplets. When our triplets are balling, we play. You see what happens. We score 37 points.
37 of them. And then on top of that, Cowboy Nation, when you look at Dak Prescott overall skill set, a lot of times, being his physical size, he was getting hit. Although it wasn't a sack, he would throw that ball, Big Game James, and get hit.
Yeah.
Or he know how to evade and elude. He's not the fastest foot runner out there, but he still know how to escape and evade and get out of the pocket there to keep his jersey clean and get out to the edges there and throw the ball away. That's the best play to make. And then on top of that, when I was calling the game live, Big Game James, there are so many people that were saying that, oh, my goodness, Dak is whack and this sort of thing after the interception. I said, no. You don't play football for 15 minutes. You don't play football for 5 minutes. You don't play for 3 minutes. It's a 4-quarter game, you say. And then on top of that, you have to, even on the defensive side, as Byron Jones got beat on one play, you have to have short-term memory, you see, but still have the resources to pull back and see what they did before. Now, Dak Prescott with the short-term memory that he showed out there after the first interception, that speaks volumes, guys. I can't lie to kick it. That speaks volumes. So,
I mean, how many times have we seen quarterbacks go in the tank after one interception, just fall off and have multiple interceptions after that and just play bad? So it was a beautiful thing just to see. Let me give you a few shout-outs,
shout out to
we got some people over. Timothy Thomas, what's going on? Aaron Wade Lewis, what's going on? Kerry Teagle, what's up with you? Gambino, as usual. Floyd Hope Jr., A.J. Jones. We got Edward Longsville, Shane Scott, what's up with you? Please keep on jumping in. Share. Bring your comments. Talk. Hey, throw your interjection on here. We'll answer some of your questions as well. So please talk as much as you can on here, interject as much as you can, and please share as much as you can so we can talk about this good Cowboys football and this great victory. As I said before, we know the Giants. We know the Giants ain't good, Law. We know they ain't good. They came in with a 4. We know it.
Hold on. I can tell you who was good, though.
Who was?
The Zebras. Oh, they
always
Dallas
good against
Cowboys versus the Zebras.
we should already know when we play any game that them Zebras always coming after us. But you know what the good thing is, even with them Zebras, we still got 37 points. Feel me?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we knew what the Giants were. They weren't a good team, 4-game losing streak, but we understood that this was an NFC game, and they're always going to play us tough. It's at New York. They were going to play us tough, and that's what they did. Although we kept them in the game, they still did play tough. So I will give them that. But although Hernandez, you need to get smacked up, and I appreciate you, Robert Quinn, for going over there and yanking his helmet off. Get him together over there next time. So I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, we had talked about a few things that we needed to see, Law, from this defense. We need to see them shut down Saquon Barkley because Saquon Barkley, the last 2 games, he's averaged over 100 yards against us. But guess what? 14 carries, only 28 yards. That is, to me, is huge because what we say, we soft in the middle. We're soft in the middle. But now you add a Michael Bennett in there, and he can play some defensive tackle in a pinch. Now he's raising the level of a Malik Collins. He's raising the level of an Antoine Woods. He's raising the level of a DeMarcus Lawrence. He's raising the level of the Robert Quinns. He's raising the level of the team. Now you got a concerted effort. And if you notice, and Sean Lee was playing out of his mind, but it was a lot more game tackling in this game. Too many times we've seen when we play Saquon Barkley, he makes one guy miss and then he's getting 6 or 7 yards. It was a lot of game tackling. One man, next thing you know, you see 4 or 5 guys to a hat, and that's what we love. And also, Daniel Jones, what we say? Yeah, 300 yards passing, 4 TDs. You cannot have that against the Dallas Cowboys. He threw 41 times, only threw for 210 yards. Only 1 touchdown. And guess what? Y'all hit 4 field goals. We stopped you inside that 20, and guess what? I like that. So going forward, even though this wasn't a good team, one thing I love about the Cowboys, defense. When that defense, when you get inside the 20 and the 10, we get stingy. We get stingy. We do not let you score, and I really love that about the defense. Too many times you see when we get inside that, teams get inside that 5 and 10 yard line, oh, they're going to score. With us, we keep them out, and we make field goals, and I like that.
Yes, indeed. So making those field goals and stopping them and holding them to a field goal is everything. Hey, I got to put this out there too, Big Game James.
Yes, sir.
We start talking about putting Saquon Barkley, you said 14 carries for 28 yards. 14
yes, sir.
Goals and 28. That's 2.0 per yards per carry, right?
You feel me?
2.0 yards per carry on Saquon Barkley. Now, I can say this. We don't play against a Saquon Barkley every week. You see.
No, you don't. And he's been a thorn.
Yeah, a thorn. And how do you feel about Jeff Heath going out, man? Talk to me a little bit. I'm gonna
keep it real. I never want to see any player getting hurt, and you never want to see that. And Jeff Heath, he's been admirable. He's a captain on the team, and he plays hard. We know this, but like I said, I feel like Jeff Heath is better off the bench. That's just my opinion about it. But you never want to see a player go out. But guess what? Darian Thompson has come in. He started in the game against Miami. And remember what we had talked about, Law, even when we were at camp. We didn't even know who he was. We didn't even see him show up at camp. A lot of the procrastinators, a lot of the Brian Broaddus's were like, hey, Darian Thompson needs to step up. We love the size. He's a Boise State guy. They love that everything about him with that. But guess what? He showed up in Miami, and then Jeff Heath goes out, and we didn't even miss a beat. Actually, he came in, and I'm not saying we played better, but, man, he gave us sound security. You saw Xavier Roman. He was making timely plays, big hits. I remember when it was a first down and they gave it to Barkley. DeMarcus Lawrence jumped over the offensive lineman, but Darian Thompson met Barkley right in that hole.
Came in there.
Met him right at the hole, a picture-perfect tackle, stopped him just like there. And that was huge because guess what? Now you stopped him again, and now they have to change. Where Barkley, we know he's strong up that middle. He's a powerhouse as far as running that ball. For him to get stuck like that, I think that gave Cowboys that And so I love the way Darian Thompson played, and I like to see him more.
Yeah,
period.
Yeah, he did pretty good. He did a solid job. And also, before Jeff Heath went out, I'll be remiss if I don't say that he did come in off the edge, off of a blitz, So I said, who was this? Number 38. Who's this guy, you see? So he did get home several times off of a blitz, and we were blitzing more than I've seen in the past. Now, I don't know if this is for Reigns, for having a Chris Richard calling the plays out there and getting comfortable with the guys that he got. But also, I saw where they utilized, Michael Bennett. Yes, because
stunts.
We look at this team and we'll say that last year against the LA Rams in the playoff, the main issue was the depth guys. We had a guy named Reed, for crying out loud, running out there. And shout out to my boy Ross,
Hot Boy Ross.
Hot Boy Ross, shout out to him. But come on, man, I don't know if he can get his spot back. I don't know if they're going to ever get him back on his roster because I don't think that he's going to be able to beat out the Kerry Hyders of the world, the Covington's kid, and also
Dorrance Armstrong. He had a sack last in the strip fumble sack, and we have been talking about him. Remember, we have been talking about him up and down at camp, how impressive he was, but he just wasn't doing it this year. He was getting there, but he just wasn't finishing. We've seen him miss 2 would-be sacks this year already, not finishing. But guess what? Maybe he was having too much pressure, having to play too much. Now you get those veterans. Now you get a DeMarcus Lawrence playing, getting in shape, getting his feet under him. Now, didn't we talk about this, Law, that DeMarcus Lawrence, he didn't have training camp. He didn't have preseason games. And you just don't hit the ground running, man. That's just not real. That just doesn't happen in football. Sometimes you get those players that can do it, but those are just those 1 out of 1,000 players that are all worldly, that they just come in and hit the ground running. You need training camp, and you need a few preseason games to get your feet up under you, especially if you had an injury with your shoulder. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now you see him 8 weeks now in it, and you see a Robert Quinn helping him on the side where that's alleviating pressure, and then you add a Michael Bennett. That's more people that have to focus on other players because they're threats. Now you see D-Law, as you saw him yesterday, he got a big sack. He almost had another sack where he laid out Jones, and he had 4 tackles. I just like that better because now you got the young guys like the Dorrance Armstrong Jr. don't have the pressure, and they can play free. And now they can come in on the third down and get the big sacks because they don't have the pressure of making that play every game.
Yes, indeed. And let me just try to read some of the comments that's in the chat box, man. I really appreciate you all. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Todd, really appreciate you. He said, what's up? Arnold says, go Cowboys all day, every day, even twice on Sunday. Joe, Italy Joe, what's good with you, man?
Joe Tranchina.
Yes, had a great time, right? Yeah, watching the game last night. Yeah, really appreciate that. Edwards, he said, Richard getting comfortable with the question marks. He says, man, stop. Richard has been here since last year. Here's my rebuttal to that. My thing is, we already know when you first coming into a system, you're just not going to just kick over everything and say, hey, this is my defense.
Right.
You got to understand there's a power struggle. Hey, as much as we love Papa Rob Marinelli, this is still his defense. This is still his philosophy. Chris Richard came in and said, hey, pretty much your philosophy is my philosophy, you see. And then on top of that, when you start being comfortable with the players going into their second year, guess what? They're flying out to the ball better. They're not thinking. They're not saying, okay, this is where we need to be at with the ball. This is where we should be at the ball. This is where we got to be at with the ball. Each one teach one, you see? So what I'm saying is that we see that even though we see a Cheeto Awuzie give up a big play here and there, well, a lot of there and there, and we see Byron Jones give up a play here and there, these guys are still growing and learning to play within his system. That's why you see the growth of Xavier Woods getting an interception and a fumble, a pickup, and things like that. That's why you see the growth of even Byron Jones. I think that if you look at the numbers, Byron Jones is playing better this year than what he did last year.
Yeah, he's playing better. He's playing better.
And this is cookie. Cheeto is playing better this year than he played last year, believe it or not.
For real, he really is. If you look at the numbers will speak that.
Yeah.
And even Golden Tate, they limited Golden Tate. I think he had, 6 catches for 40 yards, and he's always been a Cowboy killer. And even that one catch was a miraculous catch that he caught. That was just an outworldly catch. But at the end of the day, Byron Jones shuts down one side of the field. Now, to me, Byron Jones is not a playmaker. It never will be. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But is he a sticky corner that can shut a side of the field down? Yes. He's proven he can do that. Yeah. Only thing we just want Cheeto. Cheeto hasn't played bad, but when you have one guy shutting down the side of the field, you're going to get targeted. And somebody's going to make some catches on you. But the good thing about it is, like you said, Xavier Woods. I told y'all back in the day, 2 playmakers on the team were Xavier Woods and Jordan Lewis. Those were our 2 playmakers on the team.
Preach.
Period.
Minister of defense. Go ahead and preach it, man.
Come on, dog. I said Xavier Woods was going to get 5 interceptions this year. He should have 3 because he dropped the one in Washington. Right. You're seeing the playmaking ability. You're seeing why they drafted him. You see when he had the 14 interceptions in college, you're starting to see the range. You're starting to see the playmaking ability. And I think that's what, when you had the comment in there, I believe that's what Law's trying to say, is that it wasn't an overnight thing. It's still growing. They're still learning it. And then you got a Jay Lou who was pretty much in the doghouse. In the doghouse with Chris Richard. Now he's got a game high 50-something snaps last night. Anthony Brown only had 5, but look what you see. You see, ever since he's been inserted into the lineup, Cowboys are 3-0. Ever since you've seen him in the lineup, Cowboys have 7 turnovers in 3 games. So that's a huge. They've had 7 turnovers in 2 games. So. When you put playmakers in, things just happen.
We can't stress being around the ball enough. That touchdown that was given up with Cheeto Awuzie, he had inside leverage. Why is he biting back into the inside? He already had somebody inside anyway. And he bid on the play, and the wide receiver, I think it was number 12, right?
Yes.
Was able to just be like
Lattimore.
Lattimore.
Yeah.
So when we look at Cheeto's skill set, of course, he's a dog. I love Cheeto Awuzie. I love his
safety.
Oh, yes. If you put Cheeto and where Darian Thompson was at, you kick Jordan.
He's going to be better.
You probably, because Cheeto can hit when he sees the target. He can hit.
And he's
fast. If you think I'm lying, look at the interception. Let me know. Look at the pickup fumble. Guess who was right behind Jordan Lewis?
He ran down Jordan. Even when Saquon Barkley got the long run, screen pass, he was the main ones that ran him down. And he ran him down the first time when they was in Dallas, remember?
Yeah.
And then he got the drug test right afterwards. You feel me? So, but at the end of the day, I said it when Cheeto got drafted. He played some safety at college. I asked him the question, when he said he's strictly a corner, but I just think he wasn't ready for that question, in my opinion. You just wasn't ready for that question, Cheeto. That's what I was thinking. But at the end of the day, dog, I think you should look at a little bit of safety because you got good size, you got good athletic ability.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could play maybe better center field. And I don't know if it's a full-time move, but man, looking at that, and you can see Jordan Lewis is starting in the slot, man. I don't care what anybody says. Don't look at the size. Janoris Jenkins is little, and he's been starting. Jordan Lewis is a starting corner in NFL, period.
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 Yes. And then let me talk a little bit on this guy, number 50. We was
General Lee, I apologize. I apologized to him last night on my live feed, Lee. Law. I said, I'm sorry, Sean Lee. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, Sean. I'm sorry. I said, get cut. He took a pay cut. He just not that guy. I said, Joe Thomas, who is playing good. Joe Thomas is playing good. But I said, man, come on, Sean Lee. But you know what? Sean said, man, you better shut up, big game, James. You better shut your mouth, dog. I'm the general. And he went out there and showed he was popping. He was popping, Barkley. And he was out there. You remember when we saw Sean Lee when they throw that quick screen passes and Sean Lee be right there? And you know Sean Lee done had some big games against them Giants. 20 tackles. He didn't have big games. And it just like turned back the clock. And the beautiful thing is LVE comes back. You still got guys you can mix and match with that. And the huge thing about it is Sean Lee is healthy and he's fresh. I think that's one of the biggest things that you saw. He's fresh. He's not laboring. He's not have to play the full game. And when you're coming in fresh and that makes a big difference, especially when you're a 33-year-old player.
Let me tell you guys, Big Game James is telling you all nothing but the truth. When you get a player where you can limit his snaps, think about this. It's just as much as we like Michael Bennett out there with his limited snaps. We love Sean Lee with his limited snaps. We would love Jeff Heath if he had limited snaps. Mm-hmm. This is how you procure your future and protect it as well. Yeah, procure the future. Mm-hmm. Because what we have to do is, Cowboy Nation, we love Sean Lee. He can diagnose plays like no other. I always say if you can put Sean Lee's brain into LVE and Jalen, boy, this team will be unstoppable. You see, but if you can manage it a little bit, because Joe Thomas, when he slid in, it was like wow, he didn't drop a beat or anything like that.
Right.
He came right on in, 48. He trailed the tight end up the field one time, batted the ball down. I said, there you go, boy. He got safety feet almost at a linebacker's position. He got good hips. He can fly. He can chase upfield. He can crash upfield as well. So I love when Joe Thomas get into the mix. But guess what? When
he's physical too.
He's physical. And then on top of that, they trusted Sean Lee to a default. On third down, they said, hey, Lee, hey, we're going to go without nickel formation. We're going to pull you off the field right now, you see. Or we're going to kick in number 48 show. We're going to put in the Thomas right now. He keeps the promise. So right now, this team is utilizing all of their resources. And when you see they utilize all the resources.
Not really.
Hold on. Didn't like I said, Malik Collins, Big Game James?
Yes, but Blake Jarwin needs the ball more.
I'm talking about on the defensive side.
Okay, all right. I'm going to come on that offense a little bit. But
I know good and well you ain't going to sugarcoat nothing, but on the defensive side of the field, they utilizing, like I said, even with Malik Collins, I love the fact that when the third and fourth quarter, that's when you see everybody, when you see that defensive front four eat. It's always going to be in the third and fourth quarter because the offensive linemen, they're going to be gassed. They start to hold a little bit. They start to do their false start. They try to get out there because they know for sure that these boys coming nonstop.
Right.
And then on top of that, he pat his head, and now you got a 79 coming in. Then he pat his head, and now all of a sudden you got a Kerry Hyder coming in. This is what I envisioned. We didn't have this at all against the L.A. Rams. If we had a piece of this against the L.A. Rams, boy, I'm telling you, baby. I'm telling you, boy, we would have did something. But our guys were gassed. We had a read out there. What was his name?
Karan Reed, and we
51.
had no depth. As soon as Antoine Woods got hurt, we were done.
and
DeMarcus Lawrence was hurt, but now we got a wave, and that's what we've been wanting. You know what I'm saying? Like even before we had Bennett, we had a pretty solid, but guys just need to step up in that middle. But then, like you said, you get a Bennett who doesn't have to play there full time, but he can play in spots and pinches. You get what I'm saying? And especially those rush packages. Now you don't know. You can't focus on one player. You can't focus on DeMarcus Lawrence when you got Bennett out there. You can't focus on Bennett when you got Robert Quinn out there. You can't focus on one player, and that's the idea that you got to get. You get matches, you get mismatches, you get single coverage. Those were the times that your guys can work. And as you said, when those guys are working and you're focused on them, now Malik Collins comes in and gets a big sack like again. Now he's tearing up that middle. Yeah. Now the Kerry Hyder is working through. Now the Chris Covington is working through. Now the Dorrance Armstrong is working through. So you got a good mix and you got a great rotation, and hopefully it can continue to grow because it's going to need to, because this Sunday night we got another good running back coming out. His name Dalvin Cook.
But this was a good test because if in a world of worlds, if you got a Dalvin Cook versus a Saquon Barkley, you would say that, hey, they're compatible with each other. You know, they're very comparable, you see. And then on top of that, at this point, don't just call me pie in the sky Cowboy Nation. Law is just being super, super optimistic about this defense. And when a couple of weeks ago he was moving furniture around, mad at the world about this defensive front four. But I trust these front four against their front five. This front four against any front five, I trust us that we're going to get penetration, that we can get out to the edge, especially if we continue to grind and when the third and fourth quarter come around, all of a sudden they sitting there like, man, we got to have 2 tight end sets. We got to keep our extra running back out there to chip. Dalvin Cook, baby, they better make sure that Dalvin Cook know how to block.
Yeah, because we're going to send them.
And we're going to
send them corners.
And now they're finally listening to what you had to say, Big Game James. And guess what? As soon as he roll out to the flats, guess who's going to be there with number 2 and the 7 on his chest?
J. Lou.
So I'm thinking that now they finally got the full picture. But
they got the rotation that they want. I feel like, you know what, maybe they felt, because this, like I said, this is the Super Bowl run. If you went out there and got a Bennett, and he's really like a rental this year, I just don't see him coming back. It's just my opinion. I think he's a rental. And if he's a rental, you got to use what you have, and you have to make this run. And this is the time to do it. And we're going to find out. Like I said, it's a contender-pretender, because his next schedule, these daunting games, I mean, even though the Lions, we know what they are, but they always play us tough, and it's at Detroit. So, like I said, contender-pretender. I like the way that they made the move. They still jumped out there and tried to get at him, so you could see the Cowboys were really trying to address and make this run. Mm-hmm. So I do appreciate that. But even with you having a Heath back there or whoever, we still have a Super Bowl capable team. If you look at the NFC as a whole, even though we haven't played the best at times, we're still in the thick of it. And you can't tell me there's not one NFC team that we can't beat there. I mean, the Saints, we played them dollar for dollar. We beat them last year. We played them dollar for dollar, okay? Right. Well, I think we really should have won that game. Packers, we just kind of came out flat, but we still banged with them and still had a potential to win at the end of the game. So it's not like any team just went out there and strictly dominated the Dallas Cowboys, and we just like the New England Patriots got dominated. Right. We just didn't get dominated like the Patriots did. Yeah. So everybody, hey, it feels good. Even though we're not beating great teams, it does feel good because you can kind of sense that, yeah, even though we beat that Giants team and they're not good, I still like us against good teams because I like the front that we have on the defense. I like our offensive line against a lot of defensive lines. Like I said, we gave up over 50 sacks last year, Law. We have only given up 10 in 8 games.
Oh, man, that's a good number. Hey, before we talk a little bit on Blake Jarwin, because I know you want to go over to that topic, man, I have to remind everybody, the way that Bennett played last night is everything we envisioned Tristan Hill to do. I'm going to repeat. The way Bennett played last night was everything we envisioned Tristan Hill to do. Now, the jury is still out. The kid is still young. I have to bring up this because we ain't going to be PC in this thing around. Mm-hmm. Whenever you show up late as a rookie, your mind is not there. Mm-hmm. This is an opportunity for you to make millions of dollars that for your generation to come never have to work a 9 to 5 if he played this thing right. So I'm just gonna put a big old placeholder on him because he was another healthy scratch. You see, falling asleep in meetings. I do know that I chastised Jason Garrett a little bit about that, saying that, hey, these players, regardless of when Antoine Barbecue Woods was late, regardless of how we looked at when Tristan Hill was tardy as well, these players must understand that, hey, when I play sports, and I know when you play sports, or even when you coach sports, a big game, James, the temperament, the expectation should have already been set during off-season, training camp, meaning that, man, I got to be here ready to work and punch in because coach is going to have my you know what, you know what I mean.
But we talked about this, Law.
I know we talked about it, but I got to echo it. When you have to have the mindset, big game, James. If I'm on time, I'm late. So this is my last topic on Tristan. If he really wanted this past weekend should have been a wake-up call for him. He should be saying, hey, I want to get out there and I want to play against the Minnesota Vikings game. And I'll be dogging and I'll be grim. If anybody can outperform me out there on the field, they're going to have to come and bring it to me because I deserve to be out there. That's just my thoughts on it. Well, go ahead, James.
I mean, I feel you with that, but when we were at camp, we talked about this. I watched it when we were at camp. I liked the pick. I can't lie. I liked the pick. I liked the potential. I liked when I saw him. He had good size. I didn't know he was that not lacking the strength. I didn't think he was that lacking the strength. But when you really watched him at camp, things were just really sticking out to me, man. I was just watching him at camp and in practice, and he just seemed like he ran hot and cold. It just was looking like you could see those traits starting to come out, that they said the red flags, they were starting to come out because you could see he ran hot and cold. It just looked like he had to stay motivated, and it looked like you had to stay on him. And I had said this in a few shows that it looked like you had to have a coach that was going to ride him. If you didn't have a coach that was riding him, he's the type of guy that kind of go his way and just kind of drift, you know what I mean? Because he's just immature. They don't have those red flags for a reason. Right. Not all of them are true, but a lot of them are. And when a lot of them say red flags, immaturity, kind of lazy, those things it doesn't matter if you're in high school, if you're in college, or in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you're making all kind of money. If anything, you're making money, it makes you more lazier if you're already coming in with a lazy trait, because now you feel like I got the money, I made it. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at that, and hopefully they'll get it together with Hill. He's still young, 21 years old. I'm not going to just throw him in the trash right now because you still got time to still develop. But as a second-round pick and you still having a healthy scratch for at least, 5 games? That's just not good. That's just not good at all.
Yes, indeed. I think that he should just low down and say, oh, man, my ankle or something, my hamstring or something, But a healthy scratch is bad on his resume. All right, so we was talking a little bit about the utilization of all players on the defense, and then you mentioned about the offense. Jason Witten, I believe, had 8 catches for 50-something yards. A lot of people look at it. I think Mickey Spags, shout out to him. I love his show. I love what he brings to the table. But Mickey, don't ever say that again, that he was the leading receiver of the game.
Stop that.
And trust me, Jason Witten, a friend of the show, we love you, Cowboys experience.
Yeah, we love you.
We love you, Jason. But 8 catches for 58 yards, I believe. Let me know if that was 8 catches by Jarwin, would it be 58 yards? Just break it down to me, Big Game.
No, that's we already seen it with Blake Jarwin. He's the giant killer. I mean, we had Joe Tarantino said it. We all know it, that Blake Jarwin is the giant killer. He was the killer again. He had 1 catch? Did he have 1 catch?
I think no. Did he have 1 catch?
I think he only had 1 catch for a touchdown. I think he only had 1. Correct me if I'm wrong in the box. Let me know in the comments. Did he have more than 1 catch? But as you've seen, I mean, like I said, nobody's hating on Jason Witten. Okay, those were great catches. They helped. I mean, he got a big catch that got us close to getting a field goal right before halftime and took us up 13-12. So nobody's disregarding Jason Witten. But come on, dog. If Blake Jarwin catches 8 catches, he's getting 100 yards and possibly 2 or 3 touchdowns again because he can stretch the field that Jason Witten can't. You don't know daggone well if we had an Evan Ingram and a Blake Jarwin, dog. That's all Dak Prescott really needs. He's already got Amari Cooper. He's already got a Michael Gallup. He's got a guy who can throw out of the backfield in Ezekiel Elliott or Tony Pollard. I mean, he's got a guy in Blake Jarwin. If we just had that consistent tight end that could stretch the field, Not somebody who can just catch it for 3 or 4 yards and then run out of bounds or get tackled right quick. Somebody can stretch the field and hit a guy for 15 yards. We saw when we played against the New Orleans Saints. He had the big catch to get us down to score that touchdown right over the middle. When they start seeing, he kills people in the seams, dog. That's what he does. He has good size. He has good get off. Play this man more. I get it. It's Jason Witten. But guess what? You have a young guy who is a threat, and you have to use him, whether it's red zone, third downs, whatever. Get him in the game and throw the ball to him more.
Yes, indeed. And I do know a lot of people say, well, Jason Witten can block. Blocking is pretty much, we used to say 99% mentality. Are you willing to get in the way? And 1% technique, But I would say that my guy, Jason Witten, we love what he brings to the table. But that's not cutting it. 8 catches for 58 yards.
That's 7 yards. That's 7 yards.
It's 7 yards. Well, that's turning. It's catching the ball. It's running. I guess a 5 or 6 route.
Right. It's turning and catching and getting hit.
And getting
that's
hit.
Not stretching the field. I mean, that if we're like law, if it's a 2nd down and 10, right, or 2nd and 9, and you caught the ball and it was a 3 or 4 yard gain, it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. I mean, where did that really help? You get what I mean? We need somebody that when it's a 2nd and 8 or something like that, boom, we can hit him on a 15-yard gain. Somebody can stretch that field. We need somebody that can stretch the middle of that field. And after he gets the ball, he gets yards after catches. Jason Witten does not offer that. Blake Jarwin does. So he has to see the ball more, especially going forward when we play tougher defenses down the line.
Yes, indeed. So it's midseason right now. We just right above midseason. I'm transitioning over to our slot guy. Is Randall Cowb, I'm going to put the poll out there for those that's in the chat. Is Randall Cowb an improvement or a non-improvement at that spot? Would you rather have Cowb or would you rather have Cole Beasley right now? Honestly,
I mean, I'm going to be honest. A lot of people are going to say Cole Beasley because they're going to look at what Cole Beasley's doing at Buffalo. I still like Cowb. I just feel like you need to step up. I was saying during the game yesterday that, well, maybe the people were saying you fell off. People were saying you're not the same player. He's come over to Dallas and he's been okay. But, I mean, he did have 6 catches yesterday. But, he had the big fumbles. He had a few big drops. But at the end of the day, I'm still not mad at the Cowb acquisition. He still made some big catches to me in that game to get us some first downs. True. And I think he's still getting acclimated. He's not a number 1 guy with us. He's not a number 2 guy with us. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes it might not even be the number 3 when Jason Witten is getting the ball like that. So you got to still be in tune to the game because I think he just has some lapse in concentration because he's not seeing that ball. That's why he's possibly having that. But to me, I'm not mad at the acquisition, and I still like it, and I think Cowb can still help us going forward. And I think he's still going to be critical for our passing game down the line this season. So I'm still cool with it. I'm not going to bash him just because he's been uneven this season. I still like it, and I'm definitely cool with Randall Cowb still being with us. He just needs to step up more.
Yeah, so do you trust his hands?
Woo! I do trust his hands, but it's just like
that one play when Dak rolled out. He had the opportunity to take it upfield with his legs, with those Mississippi State legs, for about, I'll probably say, 10 to 15 yards. But he saw Cowb cross the middle doing that deep drag route, and he was able to hit him with and the ball bounced off of his pads and everything. And it goes to show me, I was looking at it like, man, if that DB would have turned his head around, that could have been a pick. And I look back, it goes all the way back to the Redskin game. Of course, the ball was kind of high. Ball bounces off his hands, interception. And I think we can go back to the Saints game? Was it a batted ball?
He had the big drop.
He had the big drop, yeah.
He had a big drop. And it was like on a 3rd down play. And it was when we were driving and we needed that critical first down, and he dropped that ball. Ball wasn't perfect, but he still could have caught that. And and
of course this game,
but we also forget he could have been the hero in that game.
True, because
Dak threw that laser to him. If it wasn't for Marcus Williams making that great tackle, I don't know if that safety would have got him in full stride like that. He could have been running to the house. So, like I said, his play has been uneven. His hands, yes, they definitely need to be better, but he hasn't, to me, been that guy that has a lot of drops. I just think it's a situation, where he's just not getting the ball a lot like he's used to in the Green Bay. He was getting the ball a lot in Green Bay. He was still one of our main type guys. He was seeing the ball toward the end, maybe last year. So I just think that the situation, my opinion, that he's just not seeing it as much as everybody else, and he's losing laps of concentration. But still, at the end of the day, that's no excuse.
No excuses. So I just want to put that temperature out there. And we're not saying that Cowb is trash, by no means necessary. What I'm trying to say is that how would you rate Cowb's Cowboy Nation? Is it above expectation, or is it right at expectation, or is it below expectation?
Well,
that's the better way to put it. You know, I'm thinking that he's right now right at expectation.
I think he's right at expectations right with me.
Okay, good. He's not above, he's not below, he's right at it. How do you rate your guy, man? Number 13, if you know what I mean.
Michael Gallup, I mean, you saw the great catch he had yesterday in the leap. I think he's just still getting, injuries are big. And you know what? He was saying that even when he came back from injury, he had to get over that mental hump to trust the knee. Maybe he hasn't been trusting the knee. We don't know, Law. We're not in his head.
With that cat-like quickness, he had cat-like quickness.
And he's a physical type receiver. And, sometimes, and we've seen it with Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was a physical receiver, but he had a lot of leg injuries. You know why? Because when he would make that catch, he would keep driving his legs. How many times we used to see Dez Bryant? We say, go down. Because we didn't want him to get hurt, because Dez would keep driving them legs and keep on trying to fight for extra yards. And next thing you know, he'd come up limping or anything like that. So it's a situation where I think maybe Gallup was still probably maybe getting over the mental hump, because he did come back pretty quickly from that injury. And we did need him. So maybe it was like maybe a mental thing where he was a little bit out of it. He had with the drops and things of that nature, because he was thinking about the knee. I mean, he had a couple of times where he jumped up in the air and he was kind of exposed. You will think about that as a player. If you had a knee injury and you jump up in the air and somebody's behind you, you best believe you're going to think about it. So if anybody who's played the game, you play any kind of sports, whether it's basketball or football, you've had any kind of injury, you think about that injury when you're on the field or on the court. You do. That's a hump that you have to mentally get over, to trust yourself, because you're worried somebody bumping into it or anything like that. So I think he's good. He's getting over that mental hurdle, and I think he's going to be fine going down the line.
Yes, indeed, man. Boy, you spoke in words of wisdom there, man. So we went over everything from A to Z, man, on this team. Anybody else you want to pull up and talk about? Amari Cooper, who else? Coach Garrett,
No, I'm gonna leave Garrett alone. I'm gonna leave you alone.
Did you see him clap?
Nope. I will say this. We said this. We did say this on the show. Me and producer G, we said, man, he looked mad as hell. Okay.
Okay, that's the best way you can put it. He was mad as hell.
He looked mad. He looked mad all game. And so maybe we were talking about, maybe he's in his head like, man, y'all players is getting on my nerves. Y'all keep getting me in trouble. Y'all keep getting me to blame because y'all keep doing these dumb plays. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was thinking that last night, because he wasn't clapping. He had them arms folded and he looked pissed off last night. So
he was like this.
Yes. Yeah.
My thing is, to me personally, I kind of feel last night I was telling everybody, give me some clap emojis in the chat. Give me some clap something. Because I kind of, at the end, I kind of felt like, man, we done talked so bad about the man, it got to him, And somebody done told him, like, look, man, all he does is clap. And to me personally, I felt for once in my entire 10 years of watching the Dallas Cowboys, since he's been the head coach or a part of the coaching deal, I feel sorry for Jason Garrett, because he couldn't be himself. He was sitting there, he wanted to clap after that touchdown or after something, and he just sit there like.
Well, hey, maybe, like I said, maybe he was like, man, I'm tired of these people talking trash about me. I'm tired of these fans running their mouth, and y'all keep letting them run their mouth because you're doing dumb plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't throw that interception, Dak. You know what I mean? Maybe sitting there like, come on, y'all, stop doing that. So,
but you know what? With that type of stuff, though, they'll pent in aggressions and stuff like that. It worries me. I saw this movie with Adam Sandler. I don't know if you saw this movie called Anger Management.
Yes.
I mean, that pent aggressions, he need to get it out. I don't know when he does it, but I'm sitting there like, come on, Coach Red, just clap one time.
Nah, I was cool with him not clapping. I liked him being mad. I liked him folding his shoulders like that and being mad. I liked him just being mad all game. I'd be mad every game. If that's what we can do, got to do to get 37 points. True. Mad as hell. Be mad. If we dropping 37 points a game with your arms folded and you being mad, I need that the rest of the year. Period. Point blank.
If your team clap, just put team clap in the chat. And if your team no clap, just put no clap. No clap.
Team no clap. I'm team no clap. I'm team
no clap, man.
What about Brett Maher before we get off here?
Oh, my goodness.
What do you think about him? I don't think nothing about him. I just feel like, you know what? I just wait till he kicks in, and I feel like you're going to make one and you're going to miss one. That's Brett Maher.
Look, do we give him the same litmus test? Do we say, is he above expectation? Is he right at expectation?
He ain't got no expectation.
Just make the kick, man.
Just make the kick. He ain't got no – you know who he reminds me of out of all our kickers? Maybe I might be wrong. People might say you're wrong. He reminds me of Nick Folk.
More accurate Nick Folk, yeah.
And you know why I say that? Because remember when Nick Folk, when he got with us, he was good. When he first got with us, he was good. He was kicking really good. Then he started missing a few, and then he just went terrible. But one thing Nick Folk had, he had a big leg. He had a big leg. But one thing about Nick Folk, when he started acting weird, he was inconsistent. He hit a big one, and then it'd be like 20 yards, and he miss it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, the unevenness. You know, we knew we got so spoiled with your boy, what's his name? Dan Bailey. We got so spoiled with them, so we just so used to just automatic. Now when I just go, like I said, when I see Maher, I just automatically assume if it's 50 and up, you gonna make it. If it's around that 33, between 33 and 42, I'm staring at that screen like, Lord, please help us.
But let me ask you this though about Brett. And you know, we love him. You know, I'm sorry, that word is just too easily to throw out there. We like him. We don't love him. We like him right now.
I like you a lot. You cool. You cool.
But why in the world that he can't kick on kickoff return? He can't kick it all the way into the end zone. I mean, what is
I don't understand that, dog, because he's got this huge leg hitting 60-yarders. You're the only one in NFL history to kick 360-yarders, and you can't kick it in the end zone. Even your boy Bailey could get it in there, and he ain't never have no strong leg. I don't know. Maybe that's weird. I think should be weird. Thinking you're kicking it through the goalpost like every single time.
Any soccer players that's in the chat, man, let me know. Explain to the nation, man, of why he can kick a 63-yard field goal, but he can't
with ease.
But he can't kick the football into the end zone, man. And this special team is that anomaly last?
That's
game?
An anomaly. I'm gonna say it's an anomaly because they've been consistently good this whole year. I'm gonna say that's an anomaly. I'm gonna just chalk it up as, you know what. I don't know. Maybe it was just one of those games with that. I think they'll tighten that up because I haven't seen it all year. So I'm going to just brush that off as an anomaly. If I see it again next week, boy, we're going to be talking about it. But you know what? Overall, just, before we head off here,
we got to talk a little bit about the Vikings before we go because I know you got another show.
That's right. That's right. We do.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk to me a little bit about this Vikings game. Just touch up on a little bit on it.
Well, I mean, Dak Prescott is 4-0 against Kirk Cousins. That's what I'm gonna jump out with first. We know Kirk Cousins. We know what he is. He's a stat guy. I mean, he's had some good games as of late. You know, the team has got on him. Thielen busted him out, went ham on him. He stepped his game up. But I'm sorry, Kirk Cousins just don't scare me. I'm sorry, he just never will. Kirk Cousins just don't scare me. Now they got Diggs, they got Thielen, and we already talked about Cook. I mean, they got a pretty good defense, so it's going to be a test. They got good cornerbacks. They got a good front line, a pretty good linebackers. So this is going to be a test for us. We're going to be at home, but you know what? I feel like if the Cowboys stay true to what they do and don't have the mistakes, if we play mistake-free football and we can, I feel like we whooping up. I mean, we could whoop up the Vikings. Like, it ain't like the Vikings is so daggone indestructible, like they can't be beat. We seen they was just struggling a few weeks ago. So I feel like we can go in there if we do like we do. Get Tony Pollard involved. Establish Ezekiel Elliott. Get our guys involved with the game plan like we've been doing. That's why we have the top-rated offense. I don't know if it still is, but we're still top 5.
I think so.
Get your horses involved. Get your Amari Coopers involved. Get your Ezekiel Elliott's involved. And on the defense, attack.
Xavier Rhodes, I think that's his name. He loved to bite on the double move. He's
all day.
Dynamics
and man,
corner.
If we got a healthy Cooper, he should dissect him.
Because we saw was this his rookie year or sophomore year when Dez Bryant ate him up.
Yeah, I think it was
rookie year, right? 2000.
I think it might have been the second.
When we played the Vikings.
That was 2016. That was at Minnesota. That was 2016 at Minnesota.
The Minnesota defense were they still had
they were like
they
was
still
like
good.
the number one. They was like the number one rated defense at that time. That's why everybody said we were going to catch that L, and we went in there and beat them because they had one of the top rated defenses at that time.
So they got a dynamic safety. They got a nice front four that like to get upfield. Zimmer is not afraid to blitzing. They do play press man cover with the cornerback. So there's going to be it could be a feast or famine with Mari, and it's a home game, baby. And I think that we run fast on that turf when it's at home. So this should be a game. Whereas Ezekiel Elliott, he's looking at Dalvin Cook, and he's looking like, hey, he's number one rusher in the league. Hold on, hold my drink. Hold on. Let me take my jacket off. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. He should match that type of intensity. So Cowboy Nation, I don't know if we're going to do any score prediction, but
I ain't doing score predictions.
But we can do
bowl predictions. I ain't doing score predictions.
Last week I said that my guy George Lewis,
I called it out on the. I called it out on the when we were doing our live broadcast of the game when he picked it, scooped it up. I said Law said he was going to bounce off. He was going to get the interception. It was going to bounce off somebody's hand, and he was going to catch it and run it back for a touchdown. I said so. He was right there. He was right there calling it, and I called. My bowl prediction was 2 sacks by Michael Bennett, and he got 1, but he almost got 2. So we almost got both of our bowl predictions pretty good. We've been pretty good with the bowl predictions.
We need to play them numbers, man. All right, so this is what I'm going to do there. This is what I'm going to do. Bennett get his 2 sacks this weekend, especially get Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
My guy going to get a pick 6. Jordan Hip Pocket Lewis. He's going to get his pick 6. And my Super Bowl prediction is 31 is going to get his head around to the ball. And he's going to pick off an interception. Cowboy Nation, 31 is going to get his first interception against those Vikings.
I don't believe it.
Man, you better believe it, man. He's gonna get his first INT against those Vikings, and we don't have to. And they're gonna accidentally blow the horn.
I got my bowl predictions because I'm a defensive guy, and I got a bowl prediction on the offense. Bowl prediction on the defense: 7 sacks. We're gonna get 7 sacks. We're just gonna be all in that backfield. I just feel like they're gonna be motivated. I feel like they're going to want to step up. They're going to have a chip on the shoulder with Cook and, the receiving core. They're going to be talking about that offense. I think the defense is going to want to show up and show out. So I'm going to go ahead and with my bowl prediction with 7 sacks on the defensive side. And on the offensive side, my bowl prediction, Blake Jarwin gets 4 catches for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
That's bold.
That's
bold
right there.
That's Super Bowl. You know that because Jason Witten, he ain't letting them catches go.
Yes,
so indeed, that's Super Bowl.
Yes, indeed. Big AJ.
Ask some people what's y'all's ball predictions before we get off of here.
Let me see. Jay, what's up with you, man? Dallas.
Jay Rich, what's up with you, Jay Rich?
Yeah. We got Joe. He says Minnesota is overrated. Y'all put y'all bowl prediction down in the chat.
Get y'all ball predictions in there.
More like a dog fight. This is from Makifa. Really appreciate you. Cowboys, Joe putting out score predictions, man. Should I read it live?
Yeah, he don't play around.
He ain't playing around. He said he ain't never scared all the way from Italy.
Go ahead, jump out there.
45-14, Dallas Cowboys. Walking out there, with their stuff everywhere, you see. Now, that means there's going to be a lot of scoring. That means Tavon Austin is going to get let loose, and your boy Amari Cooper going to get a pair. Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to get him some too. So that's it sounds like Dak Prescott going to run him in with his legs. So the 45 points is a lot of money. Right. Zeke goes for 150. Didn't he just go for 150? How many rushing yards Ezekiel Elliott had last night?
139.
139. It's because they probably called back some of those. The zebras got in the way. He could have had them. Yeah. So, all right, Cowboy Nation. Big Game James from Silver and Blue Nation, man. Tell everybody where they can find all of your content at, man.
Hey, make sure you check us out on Silver and Blue Nation. Actually, I'm going to have another show I'm getting ready to go on. UK Cowboys fans. That's the UK. They invited me on. Me and you've been talking about it a lot. They've had a lot of good people on there, and they invited me on the special guest on there today, and I'll be going on there in like about 10 minutes. So if you want to jump into that, make sure you go check that out. We'll be going live in probably about 5-10 minutes. But check me out, Super Blue Nation, Big Game James page, Facebook. We got our YouTube, our Twitter, our Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. You know how we do. We only try to talk the truth. Hey, we respect everybody's opinion. We like to have fun. You know what I'm saying? Cowboys football all day, and let's just get these dubs, dog. We got to get a Super Bowl run here, man.
Yes, let's get this run, Cowboy Nation. You guys heard it, man. For Big Game James just said. And the information is in the description box. Hit up Cowboys Experience. Join that Facebook page. Also, hit us up on the YouTube page, Cowboys Experience YouTube page, as well as Instagram. We're pretty much everywhere, in Twitter too. So hit us up, call the number that's in the description box, find our page, hit that like button, share this content. Let's continue to grow this thing. We're about 3,000 shy from our main goal, our short-term goal, because our main goal is just to be having like millions of followers, but that will happen in due time, right, James?
All day it's going to happen in due time. We know it.
Yes, indeed. So speaking of that, that's been my time. My name is Law Nation, LAW Nation. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as well at LAW Nation. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute.
Salute. Yeah, man.
Banger show. Good show, Big Game James, man.
Yeah, man.
They go all the way to the UK over here. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm going to be listening to something like that. That's going to be fun. I just want to listen to it. Hey, dog, but I appreciate it. I'm about to go live here.